Good morning. Here's your newsroom morning brief for Wednesday, July 16, 2025. We begin with who is Dirty Doggy, the man who says he calls the shot for Azruddin Mohammed and savagely beat a woman with a gun in public. Bradley Sampson, 35, who calls himself Dirty Doggy, is now wanted by the police for a string of offenses, including savagely beating a woman in public with a gun. But who really is Doggy? The man Azruddin gave money to pay those who joined him on the road for nomination day on Monday. Doggy is a US-based Guyanese who found fame on social media for his outspoken, expletive-laden posts. That fame landed him in Azruddin Mohammed's camp. Azruddin Mohammed wants to be president of Guyana and by his own admission is using his own money, which the US says he acquired from bribery and corruption in his family's gold business, leading to sanctions. That money is what he's using to fund his campaign. And from all accounts, he has been using Doggy to organize his affairs. In one video over the weekend, Doggy said he was responsible for selecting the Rendezvous Point Kitty Roundabout for the kickoff of the March to the Humaniana for nomination day. Now, this, he said, was approved by the boss, Azruddin. I call the shots, I make the decisions, he said in a video posted on social media. Several other reports confirmed that Azruddin paid supporters to prop up his showing on nomination day. One person said Doggy was the one mobilizing. He hired them. One of Azruddin's biggest supporters, Fatah, went on a Facebook Live to indicate that those who were hired had their names written down in a book. They would be paid $50,000 to be out in the streets on Monday. But she claimed many others turned up at Coffee Square to demand payment. But she wasn't so sure their names were in the book. When Azruddin and his party were publicly shamed for leaving a sea of trash along the seawall, Doggy was the one who was used to organize the cleanup. Then it was time to pay the workers. In signature style, he used Facebook to get his message across. All the people who I hired to work on the water truck meet me at coffee at 12 p.m. today, he posted on social media. Scores showed up to get their money, way more than were in the book, according to Fatah. There was more than one confrontation over the payments, but in the case that is now before the police, witnesses say one of the women who was there for her payment got a vicious assault. Doggy struck her, brandished his gun that he doesn't have a license for, and aimed it in her direction. By nightfall, the Guyana Police Force issued a wanted bulletin listing a string of charges: illegal firearm and ammo possession, assault, threatening language, and disorderly behavior. Doggy earlier said that those who worked for Azruddin Monday were paid. All my workers get paid and they are happy. The rest of y'all, false news, F off, he wrote on Facebook. Yesterday's incident in May at the same venue for which Doggy and another of Azruddin's organizers, Brianna Fatogori, were charged with inciting persons to commit a felony. In April, Doggy and Fatah were among a mob that violently obstructed Guyana's Revenue Authority (GRA) officials from seizing several of Mohammed's luxury vehicles on grounds of tax evasion and fraud. They then went into his property for a party. Though his name does not appear on Wynn's candidate list, Doggy is in a video last week announced to his 39,000 followers that he had received an offer from Mohammed to serve in government if the party wins the election. Azruddin Mohammed was sanctioned in June of last year by the US Treasury Department for gold smuggling, money laundering, and tax evasion. Doggy has apologized for what happened, but said he will always be Dirty Doggy. He said he will surrender by noon today. We turn our attention to the east coast of Demerara, where tragedy struck in Buckton in the early hours of this morning. 2 people were shot dead and several others injured in a shocking incident that has shaken the community. The videos circulating online show desperate scenes: bloodied bodies being carried for urgent medical help, and one victim slouched over a table with visible gunshot wounds. Details are still emerging, and the newsroom will provide updates as soon as more information becomes available. From a crime story that's still unfolding, we turn now to the courts, where a long-debated legal challenge has been settled. Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George has ruled that President Dr. Irfan Ali acted lawfully when he confirmed Clifton Hicken as Commissioner of Police, despite Hicken having already turned 55. The High Court's ruling dismisses arguments that the appointment violated public service retirement rules. Instead, the Chief Justice clarified that there is no constitutional age limit that prevents a police commissioner from serving beyond 55. As part of the judgment, the challenger, Troy Garraway, must now pay $500,000 in legal costs, a decision that cements President Ali's confirmation of Hicken, who has held the role since March 2022 and was officially confirmed in December 2024. Attorney General Anil Nandlal weighed in last night, reiterating that the government's position had always been sound.
It would be recalled that when Mr. Clifton Hicken was appointed to act in the office, that appointment was challenged by Christopher Jones in proceedings filed against the Attorney General. They lost. Then when Mr. Hicken's extension was granted by the President, they challenged that decision of the President as well. They did so in the name of Carol Joseph. They lost. Now when Mr. Hicken was appointed substantively Commissioner of Police, they challenged that decision as well in the name of Troy Garraway. And they have lost again.
Switching now to a story of survival and quick thinking, what could have ended in a heartbreak turned into relief for 21 people traveling along the Camarang River last week. On July 11, a boat carrying 14 adults and 7 children sprung a leak about 4 hours into its journey. With water pouring in, the passengers were told to abandon ship and leave their belongings behind. Thanks to swift action and the courage of everyone on board, they all made it safely to the riverbank, even helping to recover the vessel afterwards. While they lost many of their possessions to the water, the important thing is that everyone made it out unharmed. Coming up today, ACTA launches its Emancipation Festival celebrations. The African Cultural and Development Association, ACTA, will today host a special media briefing and official launch for its annual Emancipation Festival. The event, set for 10 a.m. at the Pegasus Hotel, will mark 32 years of celebrating community and culture under the banner. This year's festival carries the powerful theme highlighting the connection of all peoples through African culture as we strive to build a world where all our children are loved and protected. Today's launch will outline what the public can expect at the grand celebration on August 1st, which will once again take center stage at the National Park. The Emancipation Festival is one of the country's largest cultural observances, drawing thousands each year to honor African heritage, history, and the enduring spirit of freedom and unity. Stay tuned for full coverage of ACTA's plans for this year's Milestone Festival. Meanwhile, in regional news, Suriname is poised to make history today. Jennifer Gerlings-Simmons, the 71-year-old chairwoman of the NDP, will be sworn in as Suriname's first female president and the 10th head of state since independence in 1975. She succeeds Chandrika Santoki, who was unable to secure a second term. The inauguration ceremony at the Anthony Nesty Stadium will see over 3,500 guests gather for this landmark moment. After the official swearing-in, a parade will follow. Then the day's festivities will continue at the Presidential Palace for the formal installation of new ministers. It's a significant step forward for Suriname and a historic milestone for women in regional politics. Finally, turning to the international stage, controversy surrounds former U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of hefty 50% tariffs against Brazil. Trump framed the move as support for his embattled ally, former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, who is currently on trial for allegedly attempting to overturn his 2022 election loss. However, insiders close to Bolsonaro say they are blindsided by Trump's tactic and worry it might backfire by damaging Brazil's economy rather than helping Bolsonaro's political comeback bid. Brazil's current president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who defeated Bolsonaro, brushed off Trump's interference, calling him an unwanted emperor and threatening retaliation if trade talks stall. That's it for this morning's top stories. Stay with the newsroom throughout the day for updates and in-depth coverage of these and other breaking developments. I'm Kurt Campbell. Thank you.